All right, welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Well, that was a nice break. Check my microphone. Yep, that's on. So, Michelle and I headed out on Sunday to Mendocino and spent 5 nights unplugged. Well, I was unplugged. She was kind of plugged in. Recharging and just letting the world craziness go by. Now, just because I was letting the world craziness go by doesn't mean I wasn't vaguely aware of some major things like Elon Musk busting into the treasury with a bunch of young hackers, for lack of a better description, a bunch of incels here, and employees that were basically telling him he didn't have clearance being relieved of their duties. That because nothing screams security like having an unelected official and 6 incels in his tow with their laptops, either going in and downloading information, implanting viruses. Lord knows what they're doing with that data. I will say that this has all the hallmarks to me of like a ransomware attack. Like this would be like something to hold over the U.S. that if they don't, like if they try to prosecute Elon, that he will let loose whatever this software type stuff. I mean, that's speculation. There may be nothing wrong with it, other than the fact that I kept calling the H-1B visas the H-1B viruses. I haven't looked up to see how many of these young men that are with him are actually on H-1B visas. That would be interesting. An interesting slip of the tongue from weeks ago. What else? They want to shut down U.S. aid to foreign countries. That's good. Oh, that's right. There's shipping people off to Guantanamo Bay because nothing screams America like an internment camp in Cuba. Yeah. And Lord knows whatever else happened. I guess in a petty move of vengeance, Trump is not letting Biden have intelligence briefings because, well, Biden stopped him from getting intelligence briefings, so why should Biden get the same treatment? I mean, tit for tat, I suppose. The difference is that Trump would not use them for anything beneficial, and Biden would. Oh, well. Gosh, what else? Yes, then Canada and Mexico basically told Trump that they would do the same things that they promised Biden back in December. And then Trump went ahead and suspended tariffs for 30 days. So he can just, I guess, threaten to bring him back again. The guy's such a buffoon. Unfortunately, he's the clown car and we're in for the ride. It was, yeah. I don't know of any one specific thing to read on. I did just watch Lena Tarot Down Under's video. Basically, America, what WTF is going on over there? And I think Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot also pointed out that immigrants that were coming into Australia were held in islands off of Australia. And I know Lena's talked about that, has denounced that, and they're watching the U.S. do something very similar to that. Oh, and I guess a bunch of Venezuelan immigrants, legal Venezuelan immigrants in Florida, are upset that Trump basically used them for their vote, and he's talking about getting rid of legal immigrants too. It's not like we didn't try to warn you, right? This is just, people say, oh, I can tell how bad it is when you hear the sigh. This is just the way it's going to be. You voted for this. You didn't think it would impact you, but now you're finding out it does impact you. The MAGA followers really need to hit rock bottom. They have to hit it, and they have to hit it so hard they're concussed and maybe have some internal bleeding. And then when they go to get health care, go to the emergency room to go see a doctor, find out that their Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, has been canceled, and they can die in the streets. It literally takes, it's so sad, but it literally takes almost that level of trauma for them to finally get it through their thick skulls that what they have been proudly beating their chest about for the last 10 plus years is nothing to their own detriment. Michelle and I were talking in the car on the ride home, and it's like the Democrats have saved them from themselves for decades. And it's just time, I guess, for some tough love. Let them suffer. Let them fall. They have to fall. They can kick and scream. And when nobody comes running for them, maybe they'll pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I'm just sorry for all the collateral damage that will come as a result of that. Today's reading, 5.5 minutes in. Today's reading is going to be on just what's coming up for the U.S. A general U.S. health reading, because Trump does a bunch of crazy stuff every day. So it's hard to keep up with the individual lunacy. But let's just look at the country as a whole and see how things are looking. I did hear that the Democrats, again, were filing articles of impeachment, but I don't know what the high crime and misdemeanor is that Trump has done. I mean, if being an a-hole were a high crime or misdemeanor, guilty as charged. But let's take a look at the health of the United States as it currently stands. Okay, this will be for entertainment purposes only. Hopefully we'll provide some insight. All right, foundation of the reading is the Six of Cups. Societal norms. Okay, it's the naivety. Let's go back to the 50s. We just have to choose the century. But it's societal norms. The peaceful transfer of power, the power sharing, the older generation trying to make things better for the younger generation. That's what America is. It's always about trying to leave the place a little bit better than you found it. I don't think that's the upright meaning that we're looking at right here. I think we're looking at this, the upside down. Things are crazy. Folks, it's like every man for himself. That it's couched as, you need to suffer so that the next generation has a chance. But I don't think that's what that is. This is almost like a changing of the guard type of thing. Nostalgia, going back to the 50s, the way it used to be. This is crossed with the Queen of Pentacles, and the underlying energy is the Chaos card, the RG-Bargy Five of Wands. Okay, I'm going to adjust this. This is the entitlements, and entitlement's a 4-letter word for me. Let me rephrase that. This is an assault on social programs that help the marginalized. They're under assault by people who are claiming they're doing that the spending is rampant and it just needs to be cut. I mean, Elon Musk, our non-elected official, said he wanted to cut out $2 trillion from the budget or something along those lines. And the only way you're going to get there, especially if you're not going to increase revenues, the only way you're going to get there is basically cut all social programs. And there's no way you can get there without cutting Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, the VA, stuff like that. Things that we've all paid into, or in the case of soldiers, they've served. Promises made, promises broken. But couched as in, this needs to happen. In the past, you got the Nine of Coins, the wealthy. This is the wealthy people wanting to notice that Trump has appointed nothing but billionaires into his cabinet. Billionaires do not have our best interests in mind. They have their best interests in mind. They didn't become billionaires by being philanthropic. That doesn't mean that the Bill Gateses and Warren Buffetts of the world aren't philanthropic. They are, but they made their billions first, and the philanthropy came later. And they seem to be more the exceptions than the rules, at least as far as high visibility goes. So this is money driven. This is going all the way back to Reagan's trickle down voodoo economics, which didn't work. It made the wealthier even wealthier and the middle class disappear. Promises made, promises broken. Current situation is the Strength card. This is now a power struggle. The U.S. is now going through a power struggle. The billionaires would try and force their budget cuts and programs that help the marginalized in this community. They're trying to ram this down our throat. And how are they doing that? They can't. The Republicans cannot pass a budget in the House. I mean, obviously, they've shown they've not been able to do it the last 2 years. Everything's been a continuing resolution. But they have until March. They've got they've got a month to try and get this new budget plan through, where they are going to have to do severe cuts. I mean, one of the without getting into details, I don't know all the details. I know some of them, but they're going to have to start cutting programs. And these are going to be bitter pills for people to swallow, because guess what? It impacts the very same people that voted for them. And again, they call it entitlements. They're not. We paid into this. I don't know how well the department's managing things, but, somewhere in the late 70s or early 80s, I think it was when Reagan was in office, it could have been before, but Congress voted to no longer have the money for Social Security separate from the general fund, the general budget. And no politician said no to that, because they could fund all their pet projects. And what we have now, as Bob Brinker would put it, a bunch of IOUs in an empty vault. Okay, so here come the budget cuts and the bitter pillows that need to be swallowed. Overarching energy is the Ace of Swords. Elon Musk has mentioned that this is the time to make bold, swift actions, because, of course, he won't be affected. He won't be impacted even a little bit. If this economy crashes and people are in soup lines, he's not going to be in a soup line. He's like one of the wealthiest people on the planet. He's not going to suffer even a little bit. If anything, he'll be able to buy properties that are distressed at bargain prices. But this is your Republican. This is what you voted for. Now, if we can get into it where the votes are changed, but this is what the Republicans now represent. This is their motto: cut everything. I'm okay if they came up with a balanced budget amendment. I think that would be amazing. And then you have to balance the budget versus deficit spending. And there's two ways you can balance a budget. You can cut costs, or you can increase revenues. They don't want to do the latter, so they're always interested in cutting. They're not interested about raising revenues. The lesson to be learned from this is the Nine of Swords. These folks are again, this is about the U.S., but it's the Republicans are driving the ship now. We're going to go through some very anxious times because of the programs that are being suggested of cuts that are coming to programs that are out there. Programs, again, that help marginalized people, help them with tabletop issues. Here we go. This is what we're going to be seeing, and this is probably going out but this is going to be sort of budget oriented. There is going to be a strong emotional reaction to this. You're going to start to see the energy of the United States starting to increase. There's going to be a lot of dissatisfaction because, I don't know, saying that the U.S. should have boots on the ground and take over Gaza to make it a Riviera. I mean, we talked about this on the Terror of the Seven Seas channel. Those videos, I don't know if those videos are still up. The channel came down. The videos might have come down with it. But back when Jared Kushner was saying that they wanted to build a Riviera out there, it made sense. That's why Israel kept bombing. That's why Netanyahu was talking with Trump. They wanted basically to flatten Gaza, force all the Palestinians out of there, and then build up a bunch of luxury hotels and make it, I guess, like a Middle East, another Dubai, as it were, so that wealthy people could have a playground to go to. That was one of Lena's rants on her little 2-minute video in the WTF America, because if you want to bring terrorists to the United States, that's a great way to do it. It explains so much. It explains all the unnecessary damage and violence that's going on over there, because they're trying to get rid of the Palestinian people, because it's all about greed. All right, so in that last reading, what we're seeing, marginalized people, are going to have programs cut from them. That's what the Republicans want to do. And it's going to cause a lot of anxiety in this country, and people are going to have strong opinions on it. What will they do with those strong opinions? What's going to be the result as the temperature rises in the collective, as the temperature rises on the American people who are starting to suffer under Trump's and the Republicans' policies? What will happen with that? There's going to be a heartbreak and betrayal. We already see the F around and find out videos that are out there where people are like, yeah, but I voted for the Republicans, but I didn't vote for them to cut out my Affordable Care Act. I told them to get rid of Obamacare. Man, that then says you got tapioca between the ears as not understanding that the slur that is the Obamacare is actually the Affordable Care Act that you use. And they're going to start the betrayal is going to be coming quick. And again, with TikTok and places like that, that gives folks who are marginalized, who get to join the marginalized community, they give them a forum with which to talk about. Now, I was watching again some farmers saying how they lost their workers because they are afraid to be deported, or a construction company in Florida, nobody's showing up for the jobs because they don't want to get deported. Even the ones who are here legally, who are here with papers, Trump's talking about getting rid of all immigrants, including them. So they're not going to hang around for ICE to show up. This is going to hit MAGA straight in the face. This is not a disappointment by the Democrats. This is a disappointment to the folks who have drunk the Kool-Aid. They voted for this stuff. They voted for a lower price of eggs. Eggs have not gone down in prices. They voted for lower gas prices. Gas prices have not gone down. Not like Trump, day one, gas prices will be down 50%. Eggs will be down 50%. No, they weren't. No, they won't. He's talking about Gaza. He's talking about, anything but doing the stuff that they promised. And now he's backtracked saying, oh, these tariffs, that they're going to make things more expensive. Yeah. You think these folks feel bamboozled? If they knew what that meant, they might feel that way. In the past, you got the Ace of Swords. Okay, so this is great because the overarching energy was, here's your new Republican Party. Here's what's going to happen with the cuts. And these cuts are going to be an absolute betrayal to the American people, especially the MAGA folks. Wow, pair of aces here. Current situation is the Ace of Pentacles. I think they'll still be willing to wait and see what happens. In some ways, it's funny. This is a handout for cash. Hey, okay, we'll go through your cuts, but if you raise tariffs on China and the soybeans don't sell, well, then you have to have the bailouts. When do the bailouts come? Maybe there aren't going to be bailouts this time. Remember the last time Trump did tariffs, he had to bail out all the farmers in the Midwest. And there may not be as many bailouts this time. Yep. Overarching energy is the Eight of Coins. I think what you're going to see is that things get more expensive. People have to work longer hours in order to make ends meet. And because if the economy slows down with all these tariffs and things like that, people are going to get laid off of work. And they're not going to have the work to do. Back to Bill Clinton. It's the economy, stupid. Lesson to be learned from the reaction, how the Republicans do this. You've got 4 years. You welcome this for 4 years. I think people at this point, as soon as the Republicans pass a harsh budget, people are going to realize they signed up for 4 years of this. It's going to be 4 years before they can undo their mistake. 2 years, obviously, in the House of Representatives, but 4 years total, assuming that Trump should live so long. This is what you welcomed into your life. Maybe you might want to reject it at some point. Outcome is the King of Cups. Ha! How funny. First off, Trump and Elon act like a couple of toddlers with hammers inside a china shop. But the other thing is, this might make It might actually make him think that Joe Biden, maybe he wasn't so bad. Maybe he wasn't so bad after all. This could also be that they start having tantrums. They start having tantrums because guess what? They were promised a bunch of stuff. Promises made, promises broken. No promises delivered. And now they're the ones suffering for it. For Carter, King of with as clarifiers for that King of Cups. What will they do once that budget is passed? How are they going to react? Are they just going to give it time, or how is this going to play out? Kind of like a soup, you got to let it. Unfortunately, you're going to have to let it sit and simmer for a while they sort of slowly figure out, slowly blend, and slowly incorporate into the soup, and let all the flavors open up. Because these guys, they are like those clamshells that are bound tight. Even though you steamed them, they are still pulled down tight. And we don't get to take a hammer to them. What's going to happen? For Carter, once they've allowed this soup to simmer for a while, then there's going to be changes. Then they're going to be upset. Then they're going to want somebody to do something about it. You got a lot of action, a lot of fire, a lot of action. And here's your Project 2025 card. And the duped. And the grift. Guess what? They think they're going to finally start waking up. They're going to want changes made. And this could also be that this could be the Project 2025. Project 2025 is driving these changes. It's part of the Project 2025 plan, and they don't care who they throw under the bus. They said whatever they need to say to get their things forward. So actually, I'm sorry, this is not actually telling me about what MAG is doing. This is telling me what's driving all this. This is Project 2025 driven. They are moving as fast as they can because they know they have a very short time to enact their plan. The problem is that their plan is going to alienate a lot of people. And I imagine at that point, what they hope is that once the plan is implemented, that it will take a long time to undo it, or people will just accept it. I was hoping to get a reading as to how those folks would react to it. I didn't think I got that. So, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that King of Cups, the big emotions, it was kind of the yeah, I think going back, I was interpreting the King of Cups as them, maybe thinking Biden wasn't so bad. Maybe they're thinking that they're having a hard time controlling their emotions. No, I think what it is that they voted with their emotions. And Project 2025 was behind all of that. It wants to make changes as quickly as possible while they have a majority. They've got 2 years to basically force as much stuff through as they physically can. Now, we do have elections happening in Florida, special elections, and if you can flip those seats, then the Democrats could take control of the House, or at least have a tie in the House before at least Stefanik's seat comes up for a vote. And that will grind everything in the House to a stop. So Congress comes to a stop. Therefore, these programs can't be funded, the budgets can't be done, that sort of thing. Gridlock. Sand in the gears. So it's going to be up to some people in Florida in a pair of districts in a special election to go out there and do what they can to flip those seats. And again, heavily red districts. Matt Gaetz's district is one of them. But at the same time, people might be motivated to vote because they're starting to see that what they were promised and what's being delivered are not the same thing. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Glad to be back after a week off. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.